Welcome guys back to the channel. Because you requested or asked for it, we are going to show you how to change the oil on the Mazda 6, Mazda 3 or CX-5 with automatic transmission. If you have one, Dan has already started the job, so let me switch the camera, turn the camera and tell you about it a bit more. So here we are underneath the car. The gearbox sump is located here. As you can see, the oil sump is removed, more on that later. The drain plug for the transmission oil is the same as the drain plug for the engine oil, so size 8mm hex. What we are doing now, we are trying to collect the oil just to measure how much came out, so how much we should fill in. But anyways, it has a dipstick, so the gearbox has a dipstick, so you should know properly or exactly how much you should fill in. I believe it takes around 4.5 liters of oil. Let me show you which one we are going to use. Is this mod tool. There you go. So I believe it takes 4.5 liters, but confirm that later. Once you drained the most of it or all of it, you can undo the bolts, which are size 10mm bolts. Undo all of them and remove the pan. The reason being for that is because underneath the pan there is a filter. I'll show you that where it is and how to replace that one as well. And there are also magnets in the pan or on the pan which needs to be cleaned. While Dan is removing the oil pan for the transmission, let me show you our most recent feature or idea what we got for you. If you are not aware, I showed it in the recent videos, but this is basically a map of the UK and we marked ourselves where we are. We are here, Linkfield, Surrey, and we put a pin for every client or customer who wants to be on the map. We recently just put someone from Moulton, Mowbray, and as you can see we have people from all over the country, quite far from us. The average travel time I would say is 3-4 hours. And in the last video, like 3 people or 4 I believe said, yeah, 4 told me to put a pin on the map for them. One was Watford, Cambridge, Maidstone and Newbury. So I'll do that, and let me know in the comment section if you want to be put on the map as well. If you've been with us, we've done your car, let me know which city we should put the pin for you. And now let's have a look at Dan if he is done with removing the oil pan. So he has already undone all the bolts and now he's prying off the oil pan. In the meanwhile, while he's doing that, let me tell you something about the gearbox oils. Most of the time they are claimed or said lifetime, but we need to make sure we understand the term of lifetime. What does that mean? So what do you think? What is a lifetime when a manufacturer says so? It doesn't mean 10 years, 20 years, 80 years. So it's not, let's say, a lifetime of a human being. What they mean by that is the lifetime of the car, and nowadays how they plan or how long the car should last by their planning is, I would say, around 200,000 miles. So that's the average. Their plan the car will last, which in our case the gearbox oil should be fine for 200,000 miles if you want to use the car for that much. But if you plan for longer and if you want to keep the car for longer, we recommend, and even the manufacturer of the gearbox will recommend you to get the oil changes done in the gearboxes around 50,000, 60,000 miles. So once Dan removes the oil pan, I'll show you the magnets, and my bet is that it will be covered with metal shavings, like it will look like a hedgehog because of the metal shavings got stuck on it. And here is the filter I was talking about. And now let's have a look at the magnets. You can't see it. Let us clean up the mess we've done and I'll get back to you. The gearbox oil filter is held by two 10mm bolts, one is here and the other one is on the other end, there. So then it's going to remove them and the filter basically just drops. And it comes off just like that. And also, while we are here, let me show you the dipstick, which is this one. So you will have access to it from the top, which I'll show you in the rest of the video. So more or less we drain 4.5 liters of fluid. So that's how much we're going to pour back in for the beginning and then monitor the level. And now let's have a look at the oil pan. And here is the magnet. You see that metal parts sludge. I would say it can be expected or normal for the mileage the car has, which is nearly 90,000 on the clock. This will be cleaned. Obviously the full oil pan will be cleaned, and here is the filter kit. So the new filter comes in and a rubber gasket. The old one, as you can see, is silicone. We're going to clean that off and we're going to use the rubber gasket or sealant in between the transmission surface and the oil pan. Then also said to let's show you the difference between the old and the new filter. So this one is quite dirty. The car is getting close to 90,000 on the clock. I believe, as I said, it's worth to getting the transmission oil change done at latest 60,000 miles. So I have cleaned the pan, as you can see, scrubbed off that old silicone sealant, cleaned the magnet, cleaned the inside of the pan. Let's have a look at Dan, what he has managed to do. I believe he already put on the new filter. Yes, the tightening torque specs for the 2 bolts. Basically, don't go crazy, just feel it by hand. I would say if you want to be like precise, do 10-12 Newton meters maximum. I know there is a manual for that, but for like these small bolts we never go over, I would say 10-12 Newton meters. He cleaned the mating surface and now we can install the oil pan. So we had to wait a day because the oil pan was leaking, the engine oil pan, not the transmission oil pan. So we had to reseal it. Now that is done, I'm going to fill the gearbox, the transmission, with oil. First with 4.5 liters of oil, and the fill plug and the dipstick is here. Down there. Let me bring a flashlight so I can show it to you better. So it is all the way down there. That thing, and it is secured by a 10mm bolt. Let me try to zoom on it. Yeah, that one. That is the dipstick and the bolt is there. So you need to remove the 10mm bolt first, and then you can fill it up with oil. First we're going to put 4.5 liters of transmission fluid, the transmission oil, in there. Get it up to temperature around 60 degrees of the gearbox oil temperature, and then check the level. If we are happy with the level, then we can put everything back and it will be it. If not, we'll either need to add a little bit more oil or we will need to drain a little bit oil if we overfilled it. So once you have checked the fluid level, the gearbox fluid level, and it is between minimum and maximum at 50 degrees. I've made a mistake. The dipstick says 50 degrees. So once you've checked that, make sure it is correct between the minimum and maximum. Then the gearbox oil change is done on the manual transmission of the Mazda 2.2. It can be Mazda 3, 6 or 6.5. So yeah, that video was about it. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to share, subscribe, like, give us a thumbs up. Feel free to leave super thanks if you can afford to support the channel. Also buy from the Amazon affiliate links underneath the video, in the description. But thank you very much for watching and see you very soon in the next video. Take care and bye bye guys.